Usually when we analyze how to overcome a massive obstacle, we kind of map out this clean, linear progression, right?
Right, yeah, like a step-by-step guide.
Exactly. You practice your craft, you refine your strategy, you face the challenge head on, and, well, eventually you conquer it.
It's the classic hero's journey.
Right. It is a very neat, highly satisfying storyline. But then you step into the world of high-stakes competition, and suddenly that neat little storyline is just completely shattered.
Oh, totally. Because reality doesn't care about your neat storyline.
No, it really doesn't. Instead of a linear path to victory, we are looking at a competitive landscape that is, well, honestly, it's haunted.
That is the perfect word for it.
Yeah.
Haunted.
Yeah.
Because it is the absolute definition of psychological baggage.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that a fresh season is a clean slate is a total myth. The past never actually stays in the past.
Especially when the obstacle you were trying to overcome is, the exact same one that caused your previous downfall.
Right, exactly.
So today we are unpacking a digital baseball saga that perfectly mirrors the darkest corners of real-world stork psychology. We are doing a deep dive into a storied, incredibly bitter, multi-season blood feud.
And it is a nasty one.
Oh, it really is. It's between the Texas Rangers and the Baltimore Orioles from the MLB 2K11 Rangers franchise. And this whole rivalry culminates in a highly anticipated Season 16 American League Division Series rematch.
And what makes this whole MLB 2K11 simulation so deeply fascinating is that, these digital players do not possess human emotions.
Right, they're just lines of code.
Exactly. Yet the franchise narrative over these seasons perfectly mimics human trauma. It's like the algorithm itself seems to reflect the unbearable weight of the pressure.
It's crazy, which turns this from just a simple recap of a video game simulation into a really compelling, almost Shakespearean study of sports psychology and resilience.
We are essentially looking at the ghosts of past failures
Bleh.
and how they just completely haunt competitors.
So, if you've ever had to face a hurdle in your career or, your personal life that you previously tripped over, this story is absolutely for you.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, let's unpack this, because we absolutely cannot understand the tension of this upcoming Season 16 rematch without knowing the architecture of the resentment.
You have to know where the bad blood started.
Right. We have to go back to the genesis of it all in Season 11.
The true origin point of the rivalry. And it basically begins with a systemic, structural failure for Texas.
Yeah.
A failure that had massive real-world, or, well, in this case, digital world consequences.
It was total heartbreak. So set the scene for Season 11. The Rangers are grinding to make the postseason run.
Right, they are pushing hard.
And the Baltimore Orioles essentially step in and seize what Texas believes is their rightful property.
They just snatched it away.
They really did. The Orioles snatched the lone wildcard spot that year, and by doing that, they forced the Rangers to miss the postseason for a second consecutive year.
Which is brutal for a franchise.
And the fallout was immediate. I mean, the front office just cleans house. That failure cost the Rangers manager, Braedyn Burrow, his job.
Yeah. And if we pause there, when you look at the mechanics of front office decision-making, 2 years of missing the playoffs with our roster carrying high expectations.
Yeah.
That is an eternity. Burrow getting fired is the ultimate manifestation of unmet potential.
Oh, for sure.
The organization had to place the blame somewhere, so they placed it on the manager. But the players.
Right, what about the players?
They placed the blame squarely on Baltimore.
It is exactly like a coworker stealing a promotion right out from under you.
Oh, that is a great analogy.
Right, like you're working toward this goal, you think you're in line for the corner office, you've put in all the late hours.
You did the work.
Yeah, and at the last second, this opportunistic other person just swoops in and takes it.
And you don't just lose the promotion, your boss fires you for it.
Exactly. So enter Season 12. The Rangers undergo this complete rebirth under a new letter-in manager, Dewayne Almonte.
A total fresh start.
Right. And they come out swinging. They win 91 games. They clinch the AL West Division title.
That is a massive season.
It is. They boast the second-best record in the entire American League. For the first time since Season 9, they look poised for a massive World Series run.
They established a terrifying regular season dominance. I mean, a 91-win season requires incredible depth.
Right.
It requires consistency and an ability to weather slumps across a really grueling 162-game schedule.
But waiting for them in the Season 12 ALDS, the Baltimore Orioles.
Of course it is.
The exact same franchise that ruined their lives and got their manager fired just the year before.
The ghosts are back.
But I have to stop and push back on the dynamics here for a second.
Okay, lay it on me.
The Orioles enter this season 12 ALDS as an 83-79 wildcard team.
Right.
Now, the sources note they hit with determination and pitch with fury, which, sounds great on a motivational poster.
Sure does.
But let's look at the actual math. They are an 83-win team going up against a 91-win juggernaut.
A huge gap.
Right. So is a 91-win team actually at a disadvantage against an 83-win wildcard team that essentially has nothing to lose?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture of how playoff structures work, the answer is a resounding yes.
Wait, really? How?
Because the transition from the regular season to the playoffs fundamentally changes the required mechanics of winning.
Okay, I'm listening.
In a 162-game regular season, the Rangers' 91 wins prove they have depth, right?
Right.
But in a short 5-game playoff series, depth doesn't matter.
Oh, interesting.
What matters is your absolute peak performance. And the Orioles' greatest strength happened to be the ultimate equalizer.
Which was?
An elite starting rotation.
Yeah.
When you have top-tier pitching, you can completely neutralize a 91-win team's offensive momentum.
Oh, wow.
You don't need to be consistent for 6 months. You just need to be unhittable for 9 innings.
Okay, let's test that theory by looking at the anatomy of demoralization in the first 2 games of that Season 12 ALDS.
It's a rough start for Texas.
Game 1 is in Texas. The Rangers send Stu Correa to the mound.
A very solid pitcher.
Right. He's got an 11-10 win-loss record, but a very solid 3.23 ERA.
Which indicates a pitcher who consistently keeps his team in the game.
Exactly. Now, the Orioles counter with Stuart Glanville.
Right.
Now, Glanville's regular season record is objectively terrible.
It's bad.
He was 6-12 with a 4.00 ERA. So Texas clearly has the mathematical advantage here.
Yeah, Glanville losing twice as many games as he won definitely suggests a fatal vulnerability.
But Glanville unexpectedly outduels Correa in this incredibly gritty, tense pitcher's duel.
Unbelievable.
And the Orioles win Game 1 by a score of 1-0. Now, I have to challenge the psychological narrative here. Isn't a 1-0 loss actually a testament to the Rangers' pitching? Like, why wouldn't the Rangers look at that and say, hey, our guy threw an absolute gem, we just got unlucky with run support, we're still the better team?
You would think so, right? But it's because of the asymmetry of blame in baseball.
What do you mean by that?
Well, in a 10-9 loss, the blame is diffused across the entire pitching staff and the defense. Everyone made mistakes.
Okay, that makes sense.
But in a 1-0 loss, particularly at home to start a series, every single batter goes back to the clubhouse, knowing that if they had just worked a single walk, if they hadn't chased that slider in the dirt, the outcome would be completely different.
Oh, man. So they all blame themselves individually?
Exactly. It creates an internalized guilt spiral for the offense, places the burden of the loss on every individual player's shoulders rather than validating the pitching.
Wow.
And suddenly the Orioles, who came into Texas as the 83-win underdogs, have completely hijacked the home field advantage.
That is just brutal. And that structural damage to their confidence spills directly into Game 2.
It does.
And Game 2 manages to be even more agonizing, but through a completely different mechanism.
A totally different kind of heartbreak.
Right. So Malcolm Facera takes the mound for the Orioles. He's 11-9 with a 3.39 ERA.
Solid numbers.
Very. And the Rangers start B.J. Alonso, who is 10-7 with a 4.15 ERA.
Okay.
Baltimore doesn't wait around this time. They jump all over Alonso. The Rangers fall behind 6-1.
Which, honestly, against an elite pitching staff in October, a 5-run deficit might as well be a 50-run deficit.
Yeah, it feels impossible.
The statistical probability of coming back is just microscopic.
But the Rangers actually stage a fierce rally. In the 9th inning, their offense finally wakes up.
They find a spark.
They claw all the way back to make it 6-5. The tying run is right there.
The crowd must have been going wild.
But they fall short. The Orioles hang on, taking a commanding 2-0 series lead heading back to Camden Yards in Baltimore.
Devastating.
Now, you'd think showing some life in the 9th inning would give Texas momentum, but reading the sources, it seems to have just completely broken them.
Because it operates on the mechanics of false hope.
False hope.
Yeah, fighting all the way back from a 6-1 deficit, expending all that emotional and bullpen energy, only to lose by one single run, is catastrophic.
I can imagine.
Think of it like revving a car engine in the red zone for an hour, only to run out of gas a mile from your house.
Oh, that is a great way to put it.
The structural damage to the engine, the bullpen depletion, the emotional exhaustion is far worse than if you had just accepted the blowout and never started the car in the first place.
Wow. So they're now exhausted, empty-handed, and their backs are completely against the wall.
Completely against the wall.
They have to win 3 straight games, 2 of them in a hostile environment in Baltimore. Which brings us to the mechanics of a momentum shift in Games 3 and 4.
Now things get crazy.
They do. Game 3 in Baltimore is do or die for Texas. The Rangers start James Fillet 10-11 with a 4.03 ERA.
Okay.
And he's up against the Orioles' Jackie Busher 7-10 with a 3.41 ERA. And it turns into another grueling pitcher's duel.
Of course it does.
Tied 1-1 going deep into extra innings.
And remember, every single pitch in extra innings is an elimination pitch for Texas. The pressure is suffocating.
It goes 13 innings.
That is an absolute marathon.
But finally, in the top of the 13th, the Rangers break through. They explode for 3 runs, hold on, and win 4-1 to force Game 4.
They survive.
They did. Now, the sources emphasize that surviving Game 3 somehow unlocked the Rangers' offense for Game 4.
It really seemed to.
Because in Game 4, the Rangers start Garland Grimes 8-8 with a 3.51 ERA.
Right.
Against Roger Hicks 11-11 with a 3.45 ERA. And Texas just dismantles Baltimore 10-2, forcing a Game 5.
A total blowout.
But I have to ask, how does a 13-inning slog magically fix an offense that was struggling for 3 games?
It comes down to data collection.
Data collection.
Yeah. In a 13-inning game, the batters are seeing the opponent's entire bullpen. They are tracking release points. They are analyzing spin rates. They are seeing the same relievers multiple times.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
By the time Game 4 rolls around, that elite Orioles rotation is no longer a mystery. The Rangers had literally collected enough data points to crack the algorithm of Baltimore's pitching staff.
That makes so much sense.
The 10-2 blowout wasn't magic. It was just the result of sustained exposure.
Which is an incredible lesson for anyone listening.
Absolutely.
Sometimes the breakthrough isn't about, sudden inspiration. It's just about staying in the fight long enough to gather the data you need to solve the problem.
Just weather the storm until you see the pattern.
So here's where it gets really interesting. The Rangers win 10-2. They force a winner-take-all Game 5 back in Arlington at Globe Life Park.
They are going home.
They have completely erased a 2-0 deficit. The Orioles just got humiliated in front of their home crowd.
They are reeling.
So how could Baltimore possibly recover from that psychologically?
Well, you would assume the concept of the gambler's ruin applies here, that the Rangers' momentum is just an unstoppable wave at this point.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
But Game 5s operate in a psychological vacuum. We call it outcome independence.
Meaning what happened yesterday has zero bearing on today.
Precisely. A winner-take-all game wipes the slate entirely clean.
Wow, really?
Yeah, the 10-2 blowout is irrelevant because momentum requires it tomorrow. Yeah. In a Game 5, there is no tomorrow.
That is chilling.
It comes down to who executes under isolated extreme pressure. And the pitching mismatch we are handed for this specific Game 5 is just staggering.
Oh, it is the pitching mismatch of the century.
It really is.
Game 5 in Texas, the Orioles hand the ball to their ace, Kelvin Fick.
The ace?
His regular season numbers are absurd. A 17-4 record with a 2.57 ERA.
Unbelievable stats.
Meanwhile, the Rangers burn through their rotation just staying alive in Games 3 and 4.
They have nobody left.
Right. They are forced to start Phil Bungiwani. Now, he only pitched a fraction of the season, holding a 3-4 record with a 3.25 ERA.
A 17-win ace against a 3-win spot starter.
It's David versus Goliath.
The statistical models would heavily favor Baltimore, completely, regardless of the Rangers' momentum from Game 4.
But the Rangers come out swinging anyway.
No.
Against the 17-win ace, they shockingly jump out to a 5-0 lead.
They crack Fick.
They do. It looks like they are going to pull off the ultimate comeback. And then they just collapse. They completely squander the 5-0 lead by the 6th inning. The pitching falls apart. They never recover. And they lose the game 8-5.
Just a total meltdown.
The Orioles win the series. And I'm struggling to understand the mechanics of this. You chase an ace to get a 5-0 lead in an elimination game, and then you just stop hitting.
Well, think about a time in your own career where you had a massive head start on a project.
Okay, yeah.
You hit all your early milestones, you got comfortable, and then you watched it slowly fall apart because you stopped attacking and started defending.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've been there.
That's what a 5-0 blown lead feels like.
Yeah.
It's the paralysis of overthinking when you're supposed to be on cruise control.
So they got in their own heads.
Exactly. The Rangers built the lead operating on pure survival instinct. But once they had the lead, the pressure shifted.
The dynamic changed.
They stopped trying to score runs, and started trying not to lose. That shift in mindset is fatal against an opportunistic team like the Orioles.
The emotional whiplash of that is just brutal. I mean, you're dead in the water, down 0-2.
Right.
You fight back in a 13-inning war. You collect the data. You crack the algorithm. You win 10-2.
You are flying high.
You go up 5-door in Game 5. You can practically taste the ALCS.
It's right there.
And then slowly, agonizingly, over the next few innings, you watch that lead just evaporate.
It is a trauma that embeds itself in the DNA of a franchise.
Which brings us to the bizarre, poetic layer of this whole story.
A plot twist.
The Chicago Cubs connection.
Yes.
So Baltimore advances. They beat the Boston Red Sox in 6 games in the ALCS to capture the pennant.
Huge win for them.
They are in the World Series, but then they run into the Chicago Cubs, and the Orioles lose the World Series in 5 games.
The ultimate prize just slips through Baltimore's fingers. They could overcome the 91-win Rangers, but they couldn't overcome the National League champions.
But fast forward 3 seasons to season 15. The Rangers finally climb the mountain.
They finally get there.
They make it to the World Series for only the 2nd time in franchise history, and they win their first ever World Series title in a grueling 7-game series.
An incredible achievement.
And who do they beat to win it all?
You guessed it.
Those exact same Chicago Cubs.
The poetic irony is just staggering.
It really is.
I mean, the Orioles beat the Rangers but couldn't beat the Cubs. The Rangers suffer ultimate heartbreak at the hands of the Orioles, but 3 years later, they achieve ultimate glory against the very team that stopped Baltimore from getting their ring.
It's like a weird triangle of destiny.
It truly is.
Which brings us to the present day in our deep dive, the Season 16 rematch.
The stakes have never been higher.
The Rangers are now the defending World Series champions. They are looking to repeat.
Right.
But to do that, they have to go through the Baltimore Orioles.
The ghosts return.
The team that took their playoff spot in Season 11, the team that erased their 5-0 Game 5 lead in Season 12.
And the Orioles are still desperately hungry. They're still searching for that elusive first franchise title.
Yeah.
And crucially, they know they can beat the Rangers because they've dismantled them when the pressure was highest.
Now, the sources provided this incredible image that perfectly visualizes the tension of this Season 16 matchup. Let me paint a picture for you.
Please do.
It's an ALDS game. The ALDS logo is shining brilliantly on the screen, gold stars sparkling around it.
Okay.
And the scoreboard at the bottom just says it all. End of the first inning, Orioles 0 runs, 1 hit, 0 errors. Rangers 0 runs, 0 hits, 0 errors. The batter is just standing there waiting for the pitch.
What's fascinating here is how that scoreboard reflects the complete shift in dynamics from Season 12. Well, in Season 12, a 0-0 tie felt like a ticking clock for a desperate Rangers team trying to justify their 91 wins, right?
Right.
But in Season 16, that 0-0 tie is heavy with history.
That scoreboard perfectly encapsulates this rivalry. 0-0. Every single pitch feels like it carries the weight of Season 11 and Season 12 combined.
Yeah, the Rangers are no longer the cursed team trying to break a slump. They are champions.
They proved it.
They beat the Cubs. They have the ring. They know the mechanics of winning a title.
Yeah.
But Baltimore represents the unslayed dragon.
Yeah.
They're the one puzzle the Rangers historically could not solve.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this?
Good question.
Why dissect the digital history of the Rangers and Orioles? Because this journey, from the Season 11 firing of Braedyn Burrow to the agonizing Game 5 collapse in Season 12, to the ultimate triumph in Season 15, and now right back to this Season 16 revenge tour, it teaches us something profound about success.
It really does.
True mastery isn't just about finally climbing the mountain and winning a championship. It's about having to go back down the mountain and defeat the very specific obstacle that originally broke your heart.
The universe always seems to make you face your oldest ghosts.
Always.
Which leaves us with a critical thought as we analyze this series. We know the Rangers finally reached the summit and secured a championship.
Yes, they did.
But this raises an important question for anyone facing an old hurdle. Does having a championship ring actually protect you from the psychological ghosts of your past?
Wow.
Or does an old rival like the Baltimore Orioles always know exactly which buttons to push, completely bypassing your recent success to make you doubt yourself all over again?
That is a fascinating question to leave you with today. A massive thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of the most compelling rivalries we've ever unpacked.
It's been a great one.
Keep facing those hurdles, keep collecting data on your obstacles, and we will catch you next time.